Okay, I'm going to get started. Welcome everyone to the CitrineOS Technical Steering Committee meeting. This is the Linux Foundation Energy's antitrust policy notice. If you are not familiar with it, I suggest you take a moment to familiarize yourself with it. Quick recap. So CitrineOS is an open source charging station management system, originally authored by S44 Energy. It has been adopted as a Linux Foundation Energy project. You can find more about the project on our GitHub IO page. And if you're interested in learning more, not only about the project, but related technologies like the OCPP protocol, the OCPI protocol, and CitrineOS's place in the larger ecosystem, you can go to the YouTube channel S44 Insights. I'm going to get into the current state of development for Citrine. Our most recent release was just about a month ago. It was 1.7.1. This improved our support for ARM images, so getting Citrine to run in Docker containers on M1 Mac computers is a lot easier now. We also added a new script for running the Everest simulator as an OCPP 1.6 EV charging simulator, which makes it easier to test our OCPP 1.6 layer. And we added support for one additional OCPP 1.6 message, the update firmware message. This allows you to do over-the-air firmware updates securely with stations in the field. We already supported that in OCPP 201. But as we only covered the essential features for OCPP 1.6 in the initial release, that was a recent upgrade. So what we're currently working on is a pretty large change to both CitrineOS Core as well as CitrineOS OCPI. Our goal is to improve the OCPI 2.2.1 layer and make it its own microservice mesh separate of the microservices in CitrineOS Core. So previous to now, if you wanted to have OCPI 2.2.1 support, you would need to use images that were extensions of the core images for your microservices, not intended to be able to exist as their own services. As of this next release, they will be separate services from core and run alongside it with access to the same message broker and to the Hasura GraphQL API and to the same underlying Postgres database as CitrineOS Core. To support this change and make it easier to ensure that the different projects under CitrineOS remain compatible with each other during updates, we're going to be implementing standardized interfaces for all of the objects that's persisted by CitrineOS to the database, and those will all be in CitrineOS Core. In CitrineOS OCPI, we're going to be doing a 2.0.0 release to reflect the major architectural changes between the current version and this new release candidate. In order to do push notifications from the CitrineOS to upstream MSP partners, we're going to be using a listen notify pattern in the Postgres database underneath CitrineOS Core. And we're going to be namespacing the OCPI data so that in the future, it will be easier for us to add support for new OCPI versions. 2.2.1 is still the most widely used version, but 2.3.0 has been released with mostly smaller changes, but the addition of some new modules like the payment terminal module. And OCPI 3.0 is around the corner. So we will be revisiting OCPI to add support for those in the future. And for the operator UI, CitrineOS's native user interface meant for charging station network operators. We're going to be extending the data that is visible and editable in the UI to include the new fields needed to support OCPI. And there will be the addition of some new actions that you can take from the UI specifically to support OCPI functionality, such as things related to registering with MSP partners and admin functionality like pulling the token cache from MSP partners. Looking at our roadmap, so OCPI 2.2.1 is the current focus. In the near future, we're looking at filling out some of the OCPP 1.6 use cases and improving the user interface. Beyond that, we're going to be focusing on OCPP 2.1 and potentially also on OCPI 2.3.0. OCPP 2.1 is the newer version of OCPP, but it does not bring any super large changes to the protocol. Primarily, the updates in 2.1 are related to the move to support ISO 15118-20. So the plug-in charge standard was originally ISO 15118-2, and that's what's supported in OCPP 2.01. The -20 version of the plug-in charge protocol includes extended support for vehicle-to-grid charging, as well as for multiple contract certificate scenarios. So that more advanced form of plug-in charge is primarily what is new in 2.1. Moving from the news update to quickly discuss the makeup of the CitrineOS community. So as I mentioned, the project was originally authored by S44 Energy. Other contributors include Stackbox, who contributed a integration with the payment provider Stripe for CitrineOS. We have our own Discord channel. You can access an invite to that Discord channel on our GitHub IO page. There will also be a link at the end of this presentation. There's over 450 members on our Discord. It's relatively active. If you ever have any questions, you can ask them there and probably receive a response quite quickly. Of those people on the Discord, about 25% have indicated an intent to contribute. And indeed, we've already had quite a few people open up PRs to our various projects on GitHub. And I encourage you to do so also if there's anything that you wish to see added or rectified. In the CitrineOS GitHub organization, there is a main repository called CitrineOS. That repository is where issues can be filed. It's also where we have our governance rules. The governance rules describe some roles, the most basic of which is the contributor role. If you have at least one approved and merged PR, you are a contributor. There is no responsibilities associated with that role. It is just to recognize people who have contributed to the project. The other role is committer. Committers do have responsibilities, and in turn, they do have some say in the future of the project. In order to be a committer, you must be active on the email lists and the Discord. You must assist with reviewing and approving PRs, and at least 25% of your work week must be committed to CitrineOS in some way. The feature roadmap that I discussed is not set in stone. We do and have in the past make changes in response to interest from the community in specific features. So if we get the sense that there's something that would be more useful than what we currently have planned, we can switch to that or focus on that in our next releases. Speaking of, there's an open mic section here for anyone who is new to the meeting and would like to introduce themselves. Okay, moving on. After the TSC, I suggest that you take a look at our GitHub IO page, and you can subscribe to listserv using this email address here. This recording will be made available on YouTube, and that is the Discord invite that I mentioned earlier. Thank you everyone for attending, and that is it for today.